everyone, and welcome back to another mod review. Today we are looking at Biomes O Plenty, which is another world generation mod similar to ExtraBiomes. It's actually one of the guys that used to work on ExtraBiomes is now in charge of this mod. So this mod adds a bunch of new biomes. However, I'm only going to show you guys a few because quite a few of them are similar or the same as some from ExtraBiomes, so I simply went into the configuration file and changed some of them to turn them off, and I will show you guys how to do that in a later video. So we are standing in one of the biomes called the Ominous Woods, and it is characterized by some purple type leaves, purple vines, and we got this kind of purpley wood, and when you break those trees, you get the, hang on, you get these wooden blocks here, so it says dark wood, and it has more of a purple tinge to it, like so. Also found within this biome, if I switch over to survival mode, are these cute little flowers. So you hit the flowers, it's called Death Bloom, put it, oh, you actually can't do anything with this one, okay, never mind. So we shall wander around here. So if you have Mo creatures or AtmosMobs and you have mob control or mob spawn control, you can set it up so that the mods spawn some of those animals in these fancy biomes. I did have it set up, but didn't save for this particular world, so we probably won't see anything spawning. And I will also be talking about that mod in another video, probably next week. So, just gonna wander around here. There's lots of toadstools, some tall grass, some dead bushes, and we got all these ominous looking trees, and the sky is actually kind of purple. And if you have clouds turned on, the clouds will be a little bit darker purple as well. So, moving on to the next biome. So the next biome we're going to take a look at is called Heathland, and it was actually right beside our ominous wood, and we got an elephant spawning over there, so there must be a desert. Anyway, it's kind of like the shrubland, except there's a little bit more tall grass and a few more of these little trees, and then it is characterized with these little purple flowers. So if I go into survival mode, break one of these flowers, and it's called a wildflower, so if I take it, put it in my crafting table, it's going to give me magenta dye. Normally you can only get magenta dye through other means instead of flowers. So this is the Heathland, one of the Biomes O Plenty biomes. And then we have the Grasslands, which is kind of a different version of the plains, and it's characterized by these little grasses all over the place. Now this one is on an island, this particular little biome section, but you can find it anywhere in any kind of form. So it's just green grass, and we got these little green bushes, and the rest of this particular biome is over here. So if you have simply horses or the horses of Mo creatures and you want to have them spawn here, you just set it up with mob spawn control and you can have horses in these biomes too. So moving on. Alright, so this little section is the Biomes of Plenty equivalent to the meadow. So it just has all these little pine tree type things, small pine trees with the large pine trees. And it has these hydrangea flowers, which just gives you light blue dye. And as you can see, this biome stretches all the way down here. And we are getting some mobs spawn. This biome right here is called the Fungi Forest, so it's characterized by these weird, tall, jungle-type trees with birch wood underneath, Also characterized by mushrooms and lots of little mushrooms, and then the large mushrooms are also scattered about this particular biome. So it's just like a giant mushroom forest. And then you also have these toadstools, which if you break one, you have toadstool, you put it in your crafting table, you get shroom powder. And then of course you have lots of mushrooms at your disposal. This biome here is characterized as the Highlands, or called the Highlands, and it's characterized by this really tall grass. So occasionally you get the ones that are just 1 block high, these ones are 2 blocks. And then there are also several mountain type areas like this that just kind of scatter around. So this is a great place to have mountain goats, possibly bison, as well as maybe some deer and bears, possibly. But again, to have any animals spawn in these biomes, you need the mob spawn control. So this biome right next to the Highlands is a volcano. So you get little water patches, occasionally lots of lava. You get this dark gray stone. And then these blocks here are solid ash blocks. So once you break them off, you get ash block or ashy stone, which is the darker gray stone. And then if you break apart the ash, you will get piles of ash. If you break apart these little blocks here that are like sand, so you probably need a shovel. And then directly to this side, we have the Drylands, which are characterized a little bit darker green grass, kind of like dead grass. Then we got some darker trees, and then you have these little dead bushes. So it's kind of like an outback, but still a little green. But as you can see in our mini map, it comes out brown. This beautiful biome is an orchard, so it's characterized by lots of flowers. You got these white flowers, which are enemy, and you get light gray dye from them. And then you have these orchard trees, which, as a result, if you break apart the leaves that have pictures of apples on them, you obviously, occasionally, get an apple. So every now and then you'll get a beautiful little apple at a higher rate than what you will just breaking up a regular tree. There we go. So 4 apples. And then if you manage to get an orchard sapling, you can plant these trees. And obviously you'll occasionally get your apples. At a higher rate. And then, as you can see, just past the orchard is the Cherry Blossom Grove. If I can get over there. And it's characterized by these large purple and lavender colored trees with this dark cherry wood. Excuse the lag. Some of these biomes do take a fair bit of computer power. So you got these cherry trees. And you also have these little yellow flowers, or white flowers. Oh, it's the anemone that gave us the light brown. So that's still the same flower. And then you also have these pink flowers, which should, tulips, give us pink dye. This particular biome is the tropical rainforest, and it is similar to the ExtraBiomes. It looks a lot different, but the biome itself is similar. So you got all these cool jungle trees in interesting little shapes. And then you have these orange flowers, which will give you orange dye. If you collect them in survival mode. Daisies, put them in your crafting, you'll get orange dye. So Biomes O Plenty I like in the fact that gives a little bit different look to the biomes. Most of the extra biomes are still look pretty much the same. The only ones that are significantly different are the savanna and the ice plains, etc. So then you got this greenish water. Oops. Whereas with the Biomes O Plenty, some of them look different, and they also have the different kinds of flowers to give you the different dyes. And I can show you guys how to work with configuration files. So that way, when you guys install it yourself, you can change whether you want some of the extra biomes to be seen or the Biomes O Plenty. And another thing to note about the tropical rainforest is that the sky is quite a golden color in comparison to another biome. So if I just climb down off these trees and hop into the Drylands biome over here, you will see the difference in light almost immediately. So, got blue skies, and now we got yellow skies. So this biome here is the bamboo forest. I'm still standing in the Drylands, so of course it's going to tell me that. So this is the bamboo forest. It's characterized by these really tall bamboo plants with leaves on the top, and you got bamboo in the middle here. If you break one off, they will all fall. And bamboo can be used for a number of recipes in the mod, so if you guys have craft guide, or you can just take a look at the forum page and it'll show you all the different recipes. And then there are also these little shrubs as well. And the sky is still our blue color. This desert biome is called the Oasis. It's characterized by regular cactuses, these little mini cacti, which don't really give me anything. And then in the Oasis biomes, there are also, and the closest one is over here, there are also these little patches of green with really green lush grass, water, and occasionally palm trees. And there's a palm tree over here that I can show you guys. Although this one's kind of, oh here, this is a better example. So you have the palm tree wood, and then on top you have the palm tree leaves, and there's several other little oases scattered throughout this biome. Another interesting biome that comes with the mod is simply called the Garden, and we have one actually over here. So it's characterized by lush green grass. You have lots of wildflowers, and you have these green thingies here, which is just a type of grass, I guess, or a fern. And then you have these yellow and red flower type objects. They would make cool little balconies. And then there's a mob specifically for this mod, and it's called the Rooster, if I'm pronouncing that right. It's not even in here. Rosister? Anyway, it is basically a pink or red chicken, however you want to describe it, and it drops red rose dye when you kill it, as well as chicken. So if I just grab myself a weapon here. If it will hold still long enough for me to kill it. Okay, well that one just dropped chicken, and occasionally they drop the red rose dye. Here's another one. So that one happened to drop some red dye, 2 of them. And the sky does not change color in this biome, as with all the other ones. The next biome is this one, and I'm not really 100% sure how to pronounce this. It's Chaparral, by the looks of it. But I could be pronouncing it wrong. So it's just characterized by a lot of hills. We got this type of bush here. We got these little tiny shrubs and piles of leaves occasionally. And then the occasional little rock face. And we have lots of caves, like this one down here. Alright, so this biome is called the Badlands, and it is characterized by a biome completely made of sandstone, as well as, if I can get rid of the lag here, we have these sections of cracked soil or hardened dirt. Yeah, it would be hardened dirt is what that particular block is called for this biome. So we have the Badlands, and the sky is a little bit of a pale yellow. And then over here, we have the Deadlands, which the sky goes red, which is just cool. And we have all these hardened ash blocks here. And then occasionally, you'll find big craters, as well as in survival mode, you will get little herds of creepers living throughout the Deadlands, as well as any water in the Deadlands is automatically turned this blood red color, which is kind of creepy. Obviously, once you go underneath, it's fine. It's just the surface that's blood red. So, we'll go over this way and see if we can't find a crater, instead of just dropping off the face of the planet. Well, there would have been 2 craters right there if we didn't have this weird glitch. Alright, so here's what a crater looks when we do not have a a chunk error. So they do go quite a ways down, and this one actually just happens to break off into a mine shaft next to a secondary crater. So we're going to go back up and continue on to our next biome by heading off in this direction. So this here is our Coniferous Forest, and it's characterized by slightly larger pine trees in the entire forest, and a lot of little green grasses here. So it's kind of similar to the redwood forest of ExtraBiomes, only that the trees are a little smaller and not quite as dramatic. So here in this one we have the Wetlands, so it's very rich blue water, lots of lily pads. We have a slightly different type of swampy looking tree, and then we have these odd little patches of mud, which act a lot like soul sand, so you do move a fair bit slower. And then there are cattails. And if I go into survival mode here, break off a cattail, which can only be collected off of mud. Oh, it doesn't give you anything. Alright, I thought it did. And you can also use a shovel to collect the mud, and you get mud balls, which can be used to craft mud bricks and a few other types of blocks in this mod. And then you also have the occasional pine tree like so. So we've got more cattails on mud there. We have these little blue flowers, which probably give us swamp flower. Gives us the cayenne dye. So this bright part of the mod with the nice pink skies and this kind of magical looking wood is called the Mystic Grove. So you can collect this wood. Gives you mystic wood planks, and then you can get the jungle trees. Then there's little pink flowers that I'm pretty sure just give you the pink dye. Yep, the tulips give you the pink dye. And so on and so forth. Beautiful pink sun-setting sky, which is actually not the sun setting, that's just the color for the biome. And then we have this the glow flower, which doesn't give you anything either. And then we have yellow and red vanilla flowers. Lots of nice little foliage on the ground. And of course we have ferns as well. And we have the hyacinth blue flower. And then just beyond here we have the Biomes O Plenty version of the Glacier, which gives you hard ice. I'm not really sure what the difference between hard ice and regular ice is, but it does look a little different. And then lots of snow and stone. So that's what the Glacier looks like. And this is the Frost Forest, which is another Biomes O Plenty biome. Sorry, lost my train of thought. So you just get the kind of pine tree leaves with the oak tree leaves, or oak tree wood, sorry. So that's what this one looks like. Just fairly snowy type biome. This biome is called the Promised Land, and it has the glow flowers and a lot of the same foliage as the Mystic Wood, but it also has birch trees, jungle trees, coniferous trees, pine trees, and the regular oak trees, but in quite a few different formats. So the biome just looks aesthetically pleasing, and we have kind of a golden, yellow, orange colored sky. So if I can come up here and just turn around and show you what the biome looks like from a little bit higher point of view. There we go. So that's kind of what the biome looks like from a higher point of view. And it's called the Promised Land. And there are several more biomes that I haven't gotten to yet, but if I try and document every single one of them, this video is going to last all day. So, I hope you guys find interest in the mod. I will show you guys how to fiddle with the config files in another part 2 video, which will probably be uploaded next week. And if you want to see more snapshots of the biomes, please visit the forum page, which is listed in the description below. So thanks for watching on our weekly Mod Mondays, and I will see you next week.